Okay, Migo Fanin, everyone. Welcome back to more space adventures in Starfield with Melora. Before I begin, actually, well, first, I want to show, well, it is, actually, it's October 1st, 2023, and I'm going to be drinking this Bud Light Chelado Clamato. It's a little different, new look, same great taste. Okay, so I'll go ahead and drink that. And before I actually begin with the Let's Play, I guess I want to kind of start this off with a sort of video response, and I guess give it a little bit more, give like a more updated you know, an updated my thoughts on what's good on Starfield so far. How many hours did it say I put into it? Okay, so it says here this game has been going for about 17 hours, and I played a solo game. I have an alt game that I play where I'm playing a character named Valagar. It's basically a representation of me. I played that for maybe about a few hours or so. So total, it's, I want to say, about 25 hours that I've played. And I'm actually going to reload this this save while I'm, because I'm giving my thoughts. But I guess the reason why I want to make this, there's I guess a little discussion in my Adventurers Guild where people seem like they don't like the game anymore, which I cannot understand.
When you are, Captain.
There was a couple of them, or at least one of them, that seemed like he initially hated it and then actually started to like it, and then now doesn't like it again. And that is okay. I mean, maybe.
Hey, good to see you.
Maybe after playing it for a while, he discovered things he didn't like, and I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry for the people in the guild that dislike the game. And okay, I think this is a good kind of shot to stay at for a while I give my thoughts. Yeah, I have to kind of add more makeup on her and stuff and change her a bit, or maybe if I take the hat off. Okay, there. She looks a bit more feminine. So yeah, I have to tweak her face just a little bit more. I was somewhat in a hurry, even though it took me a half hour to make this character. It seems like there was one person, my good friend Scamp, Grumpy Scamp, which I've shouted him out a bunch of times, and I'm shouting him out again. We like similar RPG games, and he still seems like he enjoys it, and he admits that, of course, there's flaws in the game still, and yeah, I agree. Of course there are, but there's also this update, and I could kind of notice the graphics look a little bit more crisper and cleaner, particularly in the foliage, the trees and the plants, like around New Atlantis and just other areas with vegetation. And kind of weird, but like why were my eyes closed like that? But anyways, Scamp also mentioned that it's only going to get better with mods, and I agree with that. And I have no problems with mods. There was a time, when I played Oblivion and Skyrim, I was completely against mods. I talked about that on my old channel, and even brought it up when I talked about how I was playing with mods. When I was let's playing Skyrim here, and I think for me, I'm okay with mods so long as it just adds to the immersion of the game, or maybe kind of updates it a bit and adds quality of life issues, or not issues, quality of life improvements to the game that doesn't really break immersion, and it just maybe only adds to it. And I have like maybe 150 to like 170 mods, but all of those mods do not require script extender or what was that thing called, Sky UI. It doesn't require those. So they're just mostly like expansions or mod expansions or mod DLC that adds to the story of the game. Things like that. Oh, it's just the lighting. Now I look fine. That's really weird. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the mods, and if over time, when this game gets mods, especially on the barren planets, that are pretty empty, and the modders put stuff on them, you can imagine even just 2 short years from now, in addition to whatever, updates and maybe possibly little DLC that Bethesda would come up with, it's going to be a lot more richer and a lot more fuller, the world of Starfield. The other thing, that seemed to be a thing, a topic that people were discussing in there was there really wasn't any RPG mechanics in this game. And sorry, it's, my stomach. I've been having issues. But I feel as if you have this, and this is nice. I don't even have to click. I can just. Was I able to do this all the time? I don't know. But I like that. I can just move the mouse. So this is something familiar. You can pick what category you want to focus on, category or categories, and put points or even multiple points into the skill. The added thing here is that when you pick something, you have to perform these like tasks to get the right to unlock the next rank. So I thought that was a nice little touch that they added. Something like the format of this, I guess, is something like Skyrim, right? But just it's different. It's you go up, into space, and you pick whatever constellation, which is really the category, like much like this, and it goes into the each skill. But I think that one had more of it was like a clear branching path for each one, like with fire, and then you can have like improved fire or something like that, and focus more on the fire tree. This one seems more like you can pick this and then this here. It doesn't have to be the one directly underneath it. So I was okay with how they had it in Skyrim. So of course I'm going to be okay with it here. And Sarah, here, status. So this is great too. I don't know if the definition of the RPG mechanics are. feel as if it has some. It's just maybe not as in depth as the older Elder Scrolls game, and there was even a comparison between this and the fantastic Baldur's Gate 3, which I also let's play. It doesn't. It seems like it's losing interest. At least my let's plays of Baldur's Gate, people don't seem to be watching that one as much. Not that my let's plays get a lot of views, anyways. But of course, something like Baldur's Gate 3, it's going to have more RPG elements because it's based off a Dungeons and Dragons game, which is a tabletop RPG. With the dice rolls, and now you actually have the visual, D20 dice roll, and along with the off-camera dice roll. That, of course, has a lot of, RPG mechanics, and that is fine. But for me, the definition of, role-playing doesn't just end with the mechanics. It's the overall experience of the game. It's all of this in addition to just this whole world, and being able to interact with the people and speak with them and getting to know them and walking around this world and looking at all the sights and sounds. And to me, the graphics, these are some of the best graphics like I've seen in a game.
Ahoy, Captain.
Yeah, and just things like that, how they the NPCs acknowledge you, and they have sandboxing, and of course it can be glitchy. As I said, I've come across some where it's maybe the detection. Look at that. See, it's coming from the left side, and before it was from the right. So it's very like the surround sound kind of thing. But for example, the NPC detection maybe is not maybe, but I don't know if they fixed it or they just don't care. But when that guy, Sam Coe, was kind of still far away, the guard stopped me and talked to me, and we were like point blank, but then noticed Sam Coe and began talking to him when he was still like a few yards away almost, but talking to him as if he was as close as I was to him. But so that's kind of funny, and it's immersion breaking, I suppose, but after you get past that, it's not too big a deal,
Lives get stuffy sometimes.
So it doesn't bother me as much, and Bethesda games are known for the glitchiness and stuff, and I've brought this up before. I kind of compare this one to Morrowind, and that might seem like an odd thing, like why Morrowind? It's an old game, for one. It's totally different setting from this game. But when I compare to Morrowind, I'm not necessarily comparing the RPG mechanics, but maybe how it was received. Like some people, it wasn't everyone's cup of tea because it was too complex, or it was too much of a classical, tabletop RPG. You walked so slow, very slow burn. It maybe took a while for the story to move along. And I don't think people had too much of a big deal with the graphics for back then. But of course, you look at it now, unmodded or even just slightly upscaled, with the mods that I have one of them where it upscales the graphics of Morrowind a bit, but the graphics weren't too big a deal, and for its day it was considered really good, but it wasn't. I think my IGN magazine gave it a 7. You see, a 7 out of 10, and although I think GameSpot gave it, Greg Savin gave it an 8.7, so not like a 9 or a 9.5 or anything. So that's what I'm talking about with this. Initially, I was worried, and I'm not embarrassed to admit any of that. I was worried about this game receiving double sevens back to back, and then of course I see these other reviewers, praising it now. Oh, thank you, Cora. Thank you. I don't have any books for you yet, but I'll keep looking. And let me just go over here where it's going to be quieter. And what was I saying? Cora made me lose my train of thought there. But yeah. Even though I saw that, it started getting great reviews, I still go by what I think of it, from my time with the game, playing it, and I'm loving it more and more, each time. Like I'm not focusing on the flaws as much, because I'm sure, over time it's going to get fixed, and just like with Skyrim and Oblivion with the unofficial patch, the community will fix things. And I think they're mad. People are mad because they spent $70 on a game and it seems, unfinished. But I don't understand that. I mean, it's look at that. It's pretty finished. It's not like you go on a planet and then there's massive clipping or the textures aren't loaded in. This is, and I know you can't fly around, I guess like that other game they're comparing it to, No Man's Sky, which I've never played, but I guess they expected that, being able to actually control your ship and take off into space. I never expected that, but again, I haven't been really following this game intently, like maybe most people have been. It's one of those games where it was announced and I was like, oh, interesting, and I didn't really delve further into it, and then didn't really think about it. And then when I discovered, a month or two that this was coming out, then I started to take notice of it. I watched that 45-minute, making of or whatever that was, talking about this game. And I liked what I seen. And I think another complaint was that, a fellow guildie had, was that there were promises and it didn't live up to them. But they're not, to me, they weren't promises like, well, actually, from what I recall from that 45-minute documentary, I didn't see anything where it seemed like a lie. I'm thinking about it, how they said how you can pick one of those skills that you can just choose to be a melee fighter and punch people off the balcony, and you have a jetpack, and it's all there. It's everything that I've seen, you have it. And the other thing was, what was I going to say? I'm losing my train of thought, guys. I'm really sorry. It's late, and I kind of didn't expect to play, but I felt like I wanted to address this and make this response video to them. I feel like I can explain myself better than typing it and trying to explain it that way. I was going to bring up like Peter Molyneux from Lionhead Studios, where he would be talking a lot of great stuff about his game, with Fable and Fable 2 and Fable 3, all these great features it's going to have. And then when the game came out, it was an absolute letdown. It didn't have those things that he promised, or it just wasn't as good as he was hyping it up to be. This is more or less, your typical Bethesda title. It wasn't overhyped to me at least, but again, as I said, I wasn't you know, completely focused on it. And just by playing it, you know, already, you know, 25 hours, you know, I brought this up in my Baldur's Gate 3 video in one of the episodes, where there comes a point, and I think I said this when I was in the cave before I you know, stopped playing. You know, I saved the Let's Play and ended the video. But there comes a point in the game after you play it a certain amount of hours, even like 10 hours, you know, you get the idea of what the game is like, and you can already make a pretty you know, logical assessment of the game.
More than
And
enough,
it's just like,
as in
you know, when I'm
as in
playing
superfluous.
Skyrim or
imagine living on
Morrowind
the
or
fringes
something.
like
You know, I
this.
get that same
I think I'll stick to the comforts
level of
New
immersion.
Atlantis.
You know, it's just now the graphics are like this. I mean, just look at this.
Captain,
It looks
do
like
you
it's coming
require my assistance?
out really good. It is. I'm looking at there. So I mean, the graphics never looked this great, even in Fallout, you know. So I personally have no problems with that, and I just feel that you know, if you just kind of play it immersively, I guess. But those guys that, you know, weren't liking it, at least I know with one of them, he plays it immersively, but I guess I don't know. I don't know what to say. You know, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and this is certainly mine. I will say that, you know, something like Daggerfall, you know, the older RPGs, of course, it left a lot to the imagination. You know, the graphics may not look that great. Even with Daggerfall, the sky looked wonderful. You know, and when you look at that, it's a great big open world. But then when you really look at the buildings and the static NPCs, you know, that have no dimension to them, no matter what angle you look at them, they turn with you. And I'm talking about Daggerfall, not Unity, but original Daggerfall, right? All pixelated. That's where your imagination kicks in. And this, I mean, you just have to still continue to use that imagination to fill in all those little gaps of the shortcomings of the game. You know, it's just now there are less gaps. You know, whereas, you know, Daggerfall and Morrowind, you know, when they're pixelated and the AI isn't really there. You know, there really wasn't a radiant AI during those times of Morrowind or Daggerfall. You used your imagination to give it that AI. Well, now we have more or less a type of radiant AI, as flawed as it may be at times. It still works, and, you know, so long as you're not purposely trying to push it to just try to cause it to glitch out, you just play it naturally, and, you know, the way you would play your character. I'm not saying play it like it's on rails, but play it the way you would play it, you know, how you would role play it, and not play it to cause some sort of reaction or glitch, and just to put, it's glitched, and laugh at it. You know, you're gonna find something to love about it still, and as I said, just use your imagination to fill in all the other gaps, you know, that you know, are there, that break the immersion or break the illusion of it being a real world. And that's all I have to say. So sorry this is a little bit long, but I will edit this part out. I'm going to not edit it out, but okay, let me load it. I mean, I will well, edit, make a separate video out of this whole beginning part, but then keep it for the Let's Play, you know. Okay, so I think, oh shit, that's not right. This is what I was trying to do, right? Here we are. So I'm really sorry for you know, that some of you guys, you know, in my guild do not like it. And, you know, I hope maybe you just can continue to play it and, you know, just, if you liked Skyrim or Oblivion, then, and even, you know, Fallout 4, then just use the same, implement your same tactics and RP style that you play in there, in here, I guess, or maybe that's just it. Maybe you're not role-playing it quite like this and speaking with the NPCs, but maybe try doing that and it might help. So I said I was going to, you know, walk around a little bit before heading off, you know, into the hills here to look for those, I think they were like bandits or something. So, I mean, look at this. Yeah, I wanted to explore this outpost for a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time, especially now because I, you know, kind of made that response video. But, you know, I don't want to start any kind of war or any kind of fight. I just wanted to explain myself, I guess, and you know, say what I wanted to say. Oh, see, this would be considered stealing, so I won't be doing that. Wow, so the food is considered stealing, but I could take the frying pan and stuff, so I just won't take it. I won't take anything. See, to me, this is what I guess what I'm talking about. Like, you might see this as a glitch. Okay, so why is this considered stealing, but then you can take the pots and pans and stuff, you know, without it being flagged or, you know, stolen? Well, then all I do is, instead of just complaining about that, I just see that everything has a steal, you know, a steal label on it, even though it says take. So all of this is considered stealing. So I just won't take it unless I intend to steal, which I do not. So that's what I mean. Sorry for my appearance. I haven't had time to shave. I typically, you know, shave and, you know, fix myself up, but hello, Emma? Yeah, so, you know, sorry it took so long, or sorry it took so long for me to, you know, get to this mission. Wagoner Farm.
It must be quite rewarding to work on a farm, growing and raising everything needed to survive. Believe it or not, I'm almost envious of their way of life.
I'm getting more and more used to the conversations and their lingo and what they're saying. Not completely. And I think it also depends on the NPC. Like with Sam Coe, I have somewhat difficult time understanding him, but with Sarah, I guess it's because I've been spending so much time with her. Just like with anything, you know, you build this camaraderie with those that you hang out with more and talk with more, just like in real life. So, and you get to know them better, their little quirks, the way they speak, and you get used to them. Okay, I say we head for the hills or the canyons or wherever it was. Nearby canyons. Okay. Boot track. Several pairs of boot tracks lead into the canyon ahead.
Boot tracks.
Canyon
Several
ahead.
pairs by the look. Not too old either. Let's head down into the canyon and see if we can find more.
Canyon, yeah.
Quiet on here. I like it. Nice change of pace from a cute.
Don't rush the scan. Wouldn't want to overlook anything valuable.
Oh shit. Okay, how do I not rush it then? Okay. I'll harvest that. And I'll see if I could find more to scan of that. I'm even getting used to the jetpack. You know, especially now that I put a point into it, I think. Another point into tech. Right? Yeah. You know, like I said, when, you know, where people see those kind of flaws, you know, for example, like the steal, you know, how come this is, the food's considered stealing and the objects are not, I'm also kind of reminded of, even though it's not exactly the same thing, but it's
Are you
somewhat
certain
similar.
that traveling into these canyons is wise? The route
When-
looks treacherous.
It's like an early
Kept me
season,
busy
probably
for
within,
months. I'd have looked into every nook and cranny.
probably within the first 2 or 3 seasons of Star Trek Next Generation. Picard said, there's this man who's deaf and he can't speak, but he has these 3 emissaries with him that do the speaking and I believe hearing for him, something like that. And the way he's able to make peace between, he's a diplomat, right, between different, you know, governments and even planets, is by turning an advantage or a disadvantage into an advantage, something like that. And one day his emissaries, which were his ears and voice, you know, perished, and he was getting all, you know, frustrated and everything, and just he was not being reasonable about anything and panicking. And Picard calmed him down by saying, so why don't you turn your disadvantage into an advantage? You know, basically teach them sign, like, or their version of sign language as a way of bridging the gap, so it gives them some sort of common ground, not just with him, teaching them how to communicate with him, but also teaching the other side how to do it too, and now they have that in common. So I love that. I try to implement that as much as I can. Fuck, I don't want to jump so high, but can I scan it from here? Okay,
Watch it!
okay. Look at that. Okay.
I'm going to end you.
More footprints. Look, some more hidden footprints.
Grab some cover.
Boot tracks turn right along the canyon floor.
Good eye, deputy.
Oh, I see.
Looks
it
like
now.
we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. The footprints are more pronounced here, but that could also be, you know, that maybe it wasn't, well, they're a lot more fresher, for one, right? Because they're closer to where, you know, they were headed. So they weren't really washed away or anything. Oh, look at this. I know that this is an extremely boring game. You know, it is. It's a boring game, but I mean, the same can be said about Morrowind or Daggerfall, right? But to me, boring games are just another word for slow burn, right? Slow burn game. But usually, how's that saying go, right? Good things come to those who wait, right?
Got anything on your scanner?
I don't want to alert enemy. I think this has a silencer, right?
Look out!
I mean, why should I use a silencer, actually, if they're not?
Damn, had to come to this. Hey!
Are you shooting at flies now?
Oh, Sarah, I'm collecting resources. You should appreciate that. I thought you were like a scientist, right? Fucking Well, these raiders are definitely going to know someone is here, but again, they could maybe just think it's these creatures. Ruffians. Okay. Ooh. Swarming sunflower. Territorial. Antimicrobial biomes. 100 health. Reflects melee damage. Venomous. Ranged mouth attack. Right. Another one. Find the ruffians by examining their tracks. Okay, just more footprints.
Get ready.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What? So I thought rank up. I already have this one. Okay, boost pack fuel regenerates more quickly. Yeah, I thought so. Or maybe it's telling me from here it will just rank up to 3. Okay, okay. Boost jump 50 times while in combat. Okay. Very good. Very good.
Careful now.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, I like how it
Hey!
yeah, the boost pack regenerates a lot faster now. Tracks turn left.
They definitely passed this way. Let's just hope they're not perched up on these canyon walls, waiting to snipe at us.
Yeah, right. Shit, it's super dark.
Nice to get out under the sky for a spell. Being a mother means I don't get as much field work as I used to.
What the fuck is going on?
Maybe you can get that to point us to the nearest restaurant. Haha.
This almost reminds me of that worm creature in Galaxy of Terror. It's a Roger Corman flick. I think her name was Taffy. Something Taffy. And she got raped by this giant worm creature.
Watch it! Got a situation here.
Tracks of air slightly left.
You're a natural tracker.
Thank you. Wow, look at that.
Hey, stick to targets that shoot back, okay?
You know what, I have to know what her name is. Give me a second, please. Okay, yeah, her name is Taffy O'Connell from Galaxy of Terror. Fuck.
You smell that? I bet my badge that's wood smoke from a campfire.
Ooh,
They're
okay.
close. Be ready.
Right. Okay, you know what, guys? I think this is the most perfect place to end it. Again,
We should be
sorry
careful.
for that beginning.
This bottleneck is the perfect place for an ambush.
Understood. So maybe we can ambush them. draw them inside here and bottleneck them. I wish I could split you guys up, kind of like how you're able to order your squad to wait, you know, at a destination in Mass Effect. But sorry for the long intro and you know, I guess mixing that video response in with this Let's Play. Again, you know, I respect everyone's opinion, and it's great to have that kind of a dialogue. And even though I can see both sides of things and why people can be upset, you know, would be upset, I choose to focus more on the positive things, the things I like about it. And, you know, I don't want there to be any kind of hate or any kind of argument or war or anything with anyone. So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and see you.